Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have all these pieces that I've desoldered from the instrument, and I'm getting ready to put them back on, but they're a little out of askew, shall we say, a little out of kilter. And what I need to do is I need to bend them back in a way that makes sense to going on the horn. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to move you over here. See if this works, where you can see stuff. Yay! Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clean off the solder. I'm going to use my #1 torch. I'm out for a day or so, so we have to wait for the gas to catch up. There we go. So I've got, and the torches for this that I have, the tips that I have, go from this is a 1 or a 0. Is this a 0? Yeah, it's a 0. It goes from a 00, which is a little finer than this, to a 3. So we can get mega hot. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it in my little, you can't see it down here, but there's a little bench vise that I clamp on bench vise. I think this one came with my freeze kit. It just holds it in place. And I'm going to hold the parts and wipe them off. Let's see if this works with the tweezers. I think this will work. But I'll go get a set of pliers. So I have shop rag. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cleaning them up. Getting the major parts of goo off of them. Just clean them up a bit. Just so they'll sit flat on whatever I'm putting them on. Now remember, I've done this before. Remember, these are hot. I'm just heating up the solder enough so I can wipe it off. So on this one, there are like blobs of solder. So I'm just trying to get it to a point where it's back to a 0. And I can't tell you how much my life was changed when I bought the Smith torch and the acetylene air tank. It just makes it so, not that the hotter stuff made that big of a difference, but the specificity of it made a huge difference. I could put heat exactly where I needed it, you know. Exactly where it was needed. Very specific. I mean, and put more energy with the other tips. I can put my energy right where I needed it, as opposed to the little micro torches, the butane micro torches, which are great for some things, but they weren't great for everything. And if you set up your air torch right, your bottle lasts a long time. I learned that the hard way. I didn't think when I first got it, I didn't have everything dialed in like I should, and ran out of a tank in about, week and a half. All good. So this is actually working out quite well. The heat's not transferring up into the tweezers like I thought it might. So I'm aiming it, so that's the specificity of the heat in this torch. You know, it's right where I need it to go, and nowhere else. Hey, 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 hey. Why I oughta. That's good. And that one, which I will leave alone. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I've got this big wood mandrel, and the reason I'm using a wood one, not a steel one, is because this will get a proper, well, a better approximation of the roundness of the outside of the saxophone, which these all have to go onto. So hopefully these will be cooled down. Ouch! Nope. And they're not. Use water. But hey, you're using water around steel stuff. Yeah, I am. My stuff gets used. It is not pristine, as you can tell. Got burn marks on it. I've held tubas with this and done soldering on there, on them. They still work, right? They still work quite well. Now I can touch them without burning my fingers off. Now, some of these are going to be quite close. They're not damaged so much. Some of them are damaged quite a bit. This one I talked about before. It's a little warm. This came off the bow, and it's I don't think it was damaged all that much. So in the bend, so it should come to a point on the mandrel where it kind of sits, and that's true. Right? And if I take it back to where it goes on the saxophone, which I happen to have right here, it'll sit okay, you know? So there's not a whole lot of wobble. That'll solder up quite nice. Other ones, like this little guy, are bent quite a bit, so we have to bend them. So we get a little bent hammer, and I see where this is going, which is like that, about here. Not so much tapping it, but just bending it into shape. And that's just so I don't have to have too big of a, you know, too large of a solder blob underneath it. You know what I mean? So. Take a little burnisher. Just gonna squish it down. And take that thing, and if I have to, I'll take it to a steel mandrel. You know, or get a little plier and bend it just a little bit. You know, pair of tweezers. Less flat, maybe. You know, at the beginning of this series, I said that this job will tax my skills, and I think it's more revealed my skills than taxed them. Like, hey, I can do it that way. Yeah, it works. That kind of thing. Good. These are the tricky ones that have compound stuff in them. This one is pretty good. Put this one. I got myself. Little springs, I hate them. All right, that's how that goes. All right, you get the idea. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.